All right, we are live right now with our very first. I don't know what we don't really have a great name for these sessions, what they're going to be at
Not
this point,
yet.
but we'll continue to work on that. But at this point, we're just putting together some conversations around some things in business that just conversations that we need to have, important stuff that we should talk about, share some perspective and things like that. My name is Jim Sabellico. This is
And I'm
my
Tim
esteemed.
Kopylov, and super excited to be on these calls with you, Jim. I know you have a lot to offer, and just to do life with you, I'm excited to see what we can offer to our community through these conversations.
Me as well, man. I'm really looking forward to this one in particular. This topic is something that's personal to me, and really happy that that's where we're starting from. Today's topic that we're going to talk about is intentionality, and really just to share a bit of a personal story for me. The reason why this is important is I've been running my main business, which is a web design and development agency, for about 10 years, and when I first started, kind of the goal was let me build up a website agency because it was a thing that I had a skill at, and I saw that there was potential to make an income from. And I knew that I could offer this skill in exchange for money and get a lot of it. Right? That's how I think a lot of people go into business for that reason because you want to get paid. Um, I went down that road for about 6 years, made a good bit of money, and then ultimately realized that it served zero purpose to me. Um, I had accomplished the money thing, right, which a lot of people look at as success, but I had no relationship with my wife. I was never home to see my kids. Um, I just had a bit of an empty personal shell, which isn't the goal, right? Like, part of us doing this is we want to build more than just a business, you're building the kingdom. And I think that's a really important thing to keep focus on. And ultimately, what wound up happening to me there is I had a lot of time spent trying to figure out purpose and intention behind doing what it is that I do. And eventually, in that self discovery phase, I kind of realized that the intention of my business was not supposed to be for me to make personal gains. It wasn't for me to grow my business so I can generate money for myself. It was to enable other people who have their own passion, who have their own purpose, to be able to fulfill that. So I was meant to take my skill of building websites and doing marketing and then apply that as an amplification for other people. And when I shifted that intentionality in the business from generating money for myself to generating purpose for other people or helping other people push their purpose further, my business changed. I've grown. I can't even give you a percentage number, but over the past couple of years, a crazy amount. I have a totally different relationship with my family at this point.
Hmm.
Like, the change in my life from figuring out the intention of the business is night and day. And
It's
I think
awesome.
that's for that reason. That's why I kind of wanted to start that conversation here. Um, and I'd love to hear your feedback on that. What your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, even to take it back a step, I mean, I met with a gentleman yesterday. His name was Joe, and he's a financial planner. And just sharing what Kingdom is, the heart behind Kingdom, and he started sharing his testimony with me that he didn't become a believer until he was 31 years old. As a teenager, he had a financial goal that I'm going to make this amount of money by the time I'm 30. And so he forgot about that, but he wrote it down. And when he was 30, he came across that note and he said, wow, I surpassed that financial goal, but I'm not happy, right? I'm dissatisfied. There's something missing. And that was a wake up call for him. And I think for most people, the average person in this community is probably, I mean, it's not the idea. Like we all would say, yeah, I wish I had more money coming in, right, into our household. But I think it's more so people are thinking, man, I wish I had more money so I can take my wife on this date, or so that I can buy this thing for my daughter, or so that I can go on this vacation, or so that I can get a nicer vehicle, a more reliable, whatever. And then you have a different category of people where they're saying, I want to have more money so that I can make an impact in my community or impact in my business. And, I think it's just like you're saying, money is a tool. And I think those that are outside the kingdom of God, even before I was a believer, my idea of success really was I want to be able to do whatever the heck I want to do, whenever I want to do it, with whoever I want to do it with. That was my idea of success. And as I became a believer and really doing missions overseas and seeing the Lord move in miraculous ways, that just started to change because I started to realize more and more of who God is and how awesome God is and how much He loves me, that it basically transformed that paradigm of success. Now it's like, okay, God, the success for me is how can I live this life for you? How can I live this life to advance your kingdom? Because let's face it, what is 80 years, 100 years, 120 years compared to eternity? Right? And so how can I live this life for the age to come? And honestly, I love the idea that I'm already living in eternity. I'm a part of eternity. When I die, I'm just stepping into a glorified body. So going back to business, why do you do business? Right? Absolutely. We do need resources. We do have to pay our mortgage. We do have to be able to have the resources to send our kids to schools, to do the things that we think is the best route for our families. But I love hearing your heart, Jim. And just seeing that transformation happen of where you were and where you are now.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, it's an important topic, especially you got to look at a lot of people in this phase, right? They look at a website like Kingdom. A lot of people will look at it from the perspective of, hey, I want to join this because it's going to help me make connections and grow sales for my business, right? These are just customers.
Yeah.
But that's not the perspective that I think most people should be taking. They should be looking at it as, how can I better align myself with other people who are going the same way, right? And I think the more that you can align yourself with people who are going the same direction as you, kind of the stronger that current's going to be, the stronger the flow is going to be, and you're going to help kind of raise everyone in that right direction. And I think that's kind of the takeaway there. It's not, take a step back, because everyone has that desire, right, for the core basics, their standards. They need to have a certain amount of money coming in every month for their bills, their expenses. Get that part. But that should be the bare minimum of the standard, right? Once you get past that, then what? I think a lot of people tend to get caught up in the, oh, I need a bigger house, I need a bigger car, I need stuff. And stuff, because stuff is what people share on social media. It's what a lot of people think of as success. Stuff is just stuff, right? It's not, once you get past the standard, like the floor, once you have a roof over your head and a reliable way to get from point A to point B, it doesn't really matter the rest is just frivolous. So if you can focus more on the impact part rather than the income part, to me, I think the more that you focus on the impact, the income tends to take care of itself once you get to that point. I know that may seem a little, I don't know. Obviously there's a faith component to it, right? You have to have faith in the fact that you are taking the right steps and things are going to work out in your favor. But I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that what you have to do is be intentional with how you carry yourself in your family, in your business, the purpose behind your business. And when you take those intentional steps, you're going to get where you're supposed to go. And I know that it's hard for people to look at, man, I really wish I was successful. I really wish I had the house with the big pool so I can take these crazy vacations and do all that stuff, because that's what you think success is. But having went down that road, it doesn't make you happy, right? Your friend he hit that financial goal, but it didn't make him happy. It didn't give him satisfaction. I think a lot of that comes down to the intentionality behind why you're doing what you're doing. And I think that topic is just really important to speak on.
Yeah, and it's also really important for you and me, Jim, and also for our viewers to constantly revisit that question. Why are you in business? what is the purpose of your business? Are you meeting that purpose? Or have you lost track of that business? Because the thing is, it's so good to have even a weekly check. I recommend everybody, I mean, what I do on Sundays is I just kind of reflect on my week and figure out, did I do what I set out to do? Was it successful? Did it accomplish what I hoped it to do? And just to kind of keep that focus, because we all know that if you just go off a small degree, you know, 10 months down the line, a year down the line, 5 years down the line, you're gonna be way off track. And so it's just really important to constantly ask your question and just be real with you or yourself. And if you're married, it's super helpful to have those conversations with your spouse because they help you to stay focused on what's true, what's important. And it's nice to have two different people. I mean, the beauty of marriage is one that we come with different giftings, different desires, but also different weaknesses. And for my wife, Laura, to be able to come to me and say, I feel like you need to stop, or I feel like you're going off track here, has been very, very helpful to me. And it's just something that we're intentional about, to be able to communicate with each other and kind of plan out our week to come as well.
Yeah. So when you said that, two other things I thought of, which really tie in nicely together there is one, not only is having a spouse, right, really key, but another term for spouse a lot of people use is partner.
Mm.
And in business, a lot of times we have partners, right? And
Yeah.
that plays the same role. It's people who are going in the same direction. We share a common goal, but we all have strengths and weaknesses. And the other part of that is that's the purpose behind this community. Like if you don't have a partner in your business, you're a solopreneur, you're in it by yourself, or you don't have anyone at this moment that you can count on. That's the point of the community, right? And it's not necessarily just to get more clients, get more sales, get more money. It's to build those relationships with other people who maybe are in the same industry, who've been down the same road, who have experience that you can lean on. Or if not, then they're just, a shoulder to lean on. But like
Mhm.
having that community aspect of people who share the same overall intention is really key. One other thing, just to touch back on what you said there about being off by 1 degree and how far it can take you away from your goal in 10 years. I think it's important also to consider the flip side of that is being 1 degree closer towards your goal. Because I think for a lot of people, you look at figuring out your purpose is a really big undertaking, and it could be overwhelming to figure out
Mhm.
why am I here? What is my business supposed to be doing? Answering that question is really hard. It took me 6 years and a lot of trial and error, and to be honest with you, I don't know that I have the final answer, but I feel like I have a really good one right now.
That's
So,
awesome.
I would just encourage people to not focus on having to 100% answer that question. Like if you can get yourself 1 degree closer toward where your business is supposed to go, what your purpose is, just keep refining that, right? Keep seeking, and you're going to keep getting closer and closer to the place that you need to be.
Absolutely. That's good. I love that.
Cool. Yeah, me too. So, um, I think for now we can kind of call that a session. I'm really enjoying this format to be able to kind of share these stories, these interactions, these experiences, these perspectives, and as we kind of build on, we'll cover some other topics and some additional feedback and comments, and possibly bring in some guests here as well. But for now, we just wanted to share our experiences on intentionality in your business, and of course, we would love to hear your stories, your perspective on the same. So do be sure to give us comments, feedbacks, any questions you have, thoughts for future conversation. We'd love to hear it.
Perfect. I appreciate you, Jim.
Appreciate you too, Tim. All right, so everyone, I appreciate you for your time, and we'll see you around.